Your history teacher lied to you, not intentionally. But what they taught you about the pyramids was incomplete. And the real story is so much stranger, so much more brilliant, that it makes the alien theory look boring. Here is a fact that no engineer in the world can fully explain. 4,500 years ago, a civilization with no steel, no engines, no cranes, built a structure so precise that the four sides of the Great Pyramid align with true north, south, east, and west to within 1/15th of a single degree. GPS couldn't do better, and they did it while moving 2.3 million stone blocks, some weighing 80 tons, from quarries hundreds of miles away, in 20 years. One block every 2 minutes, around the clock, for 2 decades. How? In a moment, I'm going to show you 3 discoveries made between 2024 and just weeks ago in 2026 that finally explain how this was done. And one of them involves something hiding underneath the pyramid right now, something that has never been opened. But first, let's talk about what everyone gets wrong. For 200 years, historians said the same thing. Ramps, giant earthen ramps. Slaves dragging stones up the side. It sounds reasonable, until you do the math. To build a ramp steep enough to reach the top of the Great Pyramid, that ramp would need to be over a mile long. It would require more material to build than the pyramid itself. You'd be solving one impossible problem by creating a bigger one. So the ramp theory was always broken, and for decades, no one had a better answer. Until they looked underneath the sand. In May 2024, researchers from the University of North Carolina made a discovery that rewrote everything we thought we knew. Buried under miles of desert sand, they found a river, an ancient branch of the Nile, gone for thousands of years, hidden, forgotten, dead. They called it the Aramat branch, and it ran directly alongside 31 Egyptian pyramids, including the Great Pyramid of Giza. Now, think about that. You need to move an 80-ton granite block from a quarry 500 miles away. You don't drag it through the desert, you load it onto a barge, and you float it down a river, straight to the construction site. The Egyptians weren't fighting nature, they were riding it. But here's the detail that stops you cold. Archaeologists went back and looked at the causeways, those long stone paths that lead from the pyramids toward the desert. For years, everyone assumed they were ceremonial, religious walkways. But when they mapped them against the newly discovered river branch, every single causeway ended exactly at the ancient riverbank. These weren't ceremonial roads, they were loading docks. The Egyptians built a port right next to every pyramid. And then the river dried up, and the desert swallowed the evidence for 4,000 years. So the river explains how the stones arrived, but how did they get up? In 2018, archaeologists found something strange at a quarry called Hatnub, deep in Egypt's eastern desert. Carved into solid rock. A ramp. But not a gentle slope. Not 10 degrees like everyone assumed. This ramp was cut at over 20 degrees, nearly twice as steep, and running alongside it, rows of holes in the rock, post holes, for wooden bollards. The Egyptians weren't dragging stones up with brute force. They were using a controlled pulley-like system, ropes, wooden posts, physics. Steep ramps that required far fewer workers, far less material, and far less space. Then, in April 2026, a new study took this further. Researchers proposed that multiple ramps were built simultaneously, one on each face of the pyramid, adapting upward as the structure grew. Computer simulations confirmed it worked. But here's the part that nobody expected. When they mapped where these ramps would have been, they matched perfectly with hidden voids already detected inside the pyramid using cosmic ray technology. The ramps might still be inside the pyramid, sealed, untouched, for 4,500 years. Which brings us to the discovery made just weeks ago. In April 2026, researchers from the Technical University of Munich were scanning the Menkaure Pyramid, the third pyramid at Giza, using advanced non-destructive technology. And they found two anomalies, hidden voids, behind the eastern face of the pyramid. Voids that suggest a secret entrance, a chamber, possibly never opened, possibly still containing whatever was sealed inside it when the pyramid was built. We don't know what's in there yet. The excavation is ongoing, but for the first time in modern history, there may be an unopened room inside one of the Giza pyramids. Think about what that means. Here's what these discoveries are really telling us. The ancient Egyptians were not primitive. They were not lucky. They were not helped by beings from another planet. They were the most sophisticated engineers of the ancient world. They understood hydrology, the movement of water. They understood physics, ropes, leverage, counterweights. They understood astronomy, aligning structures to the stars with impossible precision. And they did all of this 4,500 years ago, while the rest of the world was still figuring out farming. For 3,800 years, from the moment it was completed until 1311 AD, the Great Pyramid of Giza was the tallest structure on Earth. No human being built anything taller for nearly 4 millennia. And in all that time, every civilization that looked at it asked the same question: how? Finally, starting to have an answer. But here's the question that keeps archaeologists awake at night. If we were this wrong about how they built the pyramids, what else are we wrong about? Because the Egyptians left behind 130 pyramids, thousands of miles of underground tunnels, texts we still cannot fully translate, and at least one chamber that has never been opened. The pyramids are not a solved mystery. They are a mystery we are only now beginning to understand. And the deeper we dig, the more extraordinary the answer becomes.